They want me to change, but I ain't changing. Nah, I remain the same.
And you are now tuned into another episode of Intellectually Petty Radio, brought to you in concert with A Beautiful Machine magazine, as well as the mighty Nerd DJs Radio Network. You already know, man. I only rock with legends around here, month after month, day after day, year after year. And today is absolutely no exception. We got father of four, husband, combat Navy veteran, and activist who is tired of this country getting ripped apart. We have Chris Farrell in the building. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, how's it going?
All right, man. How's your family?
Good. Right now we're painting my son's room. So I got 3 boys, 1 girl. She's the oldest. She's 15. And then my oldest son, we're like redoing his room for Christmas. Mm-hmm. So we're like in the middle of painting it and setting up new furniture and hooking him up with a PS4. And so he's just chilling in the living room while my wife is doing that while I'm out here.
Yo, your online presence is ridiculous, off the hook. Does it cause problems for the family?
No, it's just so my wife and I have to kind of coordinate our schedules so I've been on TikTok for I don't know a couple years now, and it took me better part of 2 years just to get the 49,000 followers that I have. Mm-hmm. And then another creator from Instagram had like suggested that I get on Instagram because I didn't have one. Like I had my personal Instagram, but I never used it. So I was like, all right, so I did that back in September. Mm-hmm. I switched it over to a professional, got rid of any personal information I didn't want out there, pictures, stuff like that. And then it just blew up. And I was like, wow, okay. I like Instagram much better than I like TikTok because people are a lot more receptive on Instagram for sure. But yeah, I've got 124,000 followers now.
That's crazy.
I got 8.6 million views last month. I had like 11 million views the month before that.
So is it at a point where you're getting recognized when you go out?
Yeah, so I've had a few people, like I have a store right down the road from my house, and one of my followers actually works at the store. So like every time I go in there and he's like, hey, how's it going? Like, you doing a podcast episode this week? Because I just started a podcast. So, and I'm like, no, we're not filming until like Monday. But we took last week off for the holidays. So yeah, it's interesting for sure. I get a lot more hate mail than I used to.
That's got to be tough.
Nah, I don't let people bother me because if I'm ruffling people's feathers, it just means I'm talking about the right stuff.
Okay, so let me ask you this. And I know when I reached out, you said, what we're going to talk about. And I want to talk about, is democracy dead? Although I want to preface that with, do you think this country has ever actually been a democracy?
Well, it's a fair point because without diving too far into the rabbit hole, I think we have just enough illusion of freedom to keep us happy.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the things that actually matter, we don't really have much of a choice. As far as is democracy dead, I don't think so, not yet. If we're allowed to have a midterms and that turns out red or rigged or something prevents us from having a midterms, well, then that might be the catalyst. Because I think everyone's still holding out hope for midterms.
Who do you blame the most for the current state? And I don't mean like in the government, but I mean, which segment of the population, if you had to put the price tag, if you will, on for the state of the fucked upness, who would you say?
Honestly, I'd probably. So people are only as good as the information they're given. Okay, and that, we have people in this country of all different levels of education, from fifth grade dropouts to, master's degree, PhDs, and all that. We can't expect everyone to be on the same intelligence level, and
Mhm.
common sense comes with that. So, with that being said, people being only as good as the information we're giving, I heavily blame the media. And honestly, I think social media plays a huge play in it. I just did a little digging into why mass shootings have been so prevalent since, I don't know, what was it, 2010 or something like
Mhm.
that. It was like
Mhm.
mass spike in it. So I was like looking into it, and 2010 is when Facebook, YouTube, Instagram all became a what was it called? The Something to do with the algorithm. They passed regulations that allow
Mhm. Basically, to control the algorithm to an extent.
the algorithm, and then paid. That's like when payments, like people started to get paid to make
Yeah.
content and stuff, really kicked off in 2010. So the algorithm started to push more. And like I was watching like this chart on mass shootings in the United States, and like right around, it's either 2010 or 2013. I don't want to give you like bad information. It was one of those, but it just jumped. We went from having like under 20 a year to a couple hundred. It was insane. I was like, "Wow, why is that?" And then that led me down to the social media, how that really kicked off the same year that it jumped, or the year before that it jumped, and I'm like, "Wow, that's gotta be a correlation." Like, so yeah, I blame the media and social media.
I'm gonna say,
For instance, misinformation travels so fast. Have you seen that video floating around of all, like, the thousands of people that gathered this year at the
mhm,
Brooklyn Bridge to see the fireworks show?
I deny.
So I have like a video pre-recorded on my phone that I'm gonna like put out later on my social, but
Okay.
thousands, I'm talking thousands. Like people have videos and stuff where they're looking back and forth, all standing on the riverside over the Brooklyn Bridge because they had
Mhm.
heard there was going to be a fireworks show on New Year's. And they counted down to New Year's and nothing happened. And people were just like, "What?" And I was like, I'm making a video. I was like, like it's not a big deal to miss fireworks shows, but take this concept and now add dark twist to it. And that's how bad misinformation can spread on social media, and like how fast it can dupe people.
This country doesn't listen to black people.
No,
We have
they don't
we have
listen.
predicted we have predicted this shit. And I'm not trying to. We have predicted this shit for eons. Not
Mhm.
just this, but everything along the way. And it's like I can't remember which president it was, but basically his point was, give a poor white dude somebody to hate, and not only can you pick his pockets, he'll give his money to you.
Yes, I don't remember which president, but I definitely have heard that quote.
And that we are seeing that in real time.
But here's the difference: is now in 2025,
Mhm,
the average American, and for the sake of argument, because we're talking about uh, black people or African American people
mhm.
who have like predicted this, but it's because you've lived through the whole, give a rich person or a white person someone to hate, or a poor person, you know what I mean, like what you said.
Yeah.
But in 2025, the average American has now fallen into basically where you guys have been. So unless you're rich, everyone's the same. Not that, like, I don't have a target on my back,
Yeah.
like minorities have a target on their back and immigrants have a target on their back and stuff like that. And I totally recognize that,
Mhm.
but it is definitely a economic divide going on in this country that is
That's been here from
unprecedented, but
that's
I think
been here
it's
from day one, though. That's how they like. If you think about it, the founding fathers, they didn't think that poor white dudes should be able to vote. If you
right.
didn't own some shit, you didn't count.
Right. You got to own land to vote.
Exactly. So it's nothing new. They just have gotten so blatant about shit.
Well, that's
Like,
like I talk to my wife about this all the time. Like I might be naive, but I grew up in my
mhm.
mind thinking that people were kind of inherently smart. You know, they had common sense to them, even if they weren't educated. Holy shit, man! I joined the military. I'm sorry. Can I swear on your show?
Absolutely, it's
Okay, cool.
encouraged.
Excellent. I joined the military right out of high school, and then I started to get out into the real world, and that slapped me in the face like a ton of bricks. People, they're not that smart. People will follow the common path. Not everybody, but enough of them to make a negative impact.
Do you know the most amazing thing that I see on a regular basis is a completely empty street and somebody standing at the corner waiting on the light to turn green.
The rule followers.
Oh, that to the point of doing it on their own when nobody else is watching and
Well,
there's
those are the
absolutely no chance of harm to you.
those are the people that their parents are always like, well, even if nobody's watching, don't do it, even if nobody's watching yet.
It's ridiculous though.
Yeah, no, I'd cross the road, man. If I don't see a car,
I'm out of there.
ain't
Like
nothing
it
stopping me.
makes no sense to me. Okay, so immigration. There has to be there's some truth on both sides, in my opinion. No matter no country on the planet is just saying I want everybody to come in.
Yeah,
The way they go about that is different. There are some people like don't mind. Hey, you should be shot on sight. We should not go through all of this. We should just wait, just bullets, and it'll deter people. Other people come on in, depending on your situation. And generally speaking, there are certain countries that just get more favorable treatment, always have and always will.
right.
What is Trump doing that is so egregious at this point to you? And I'm not a Trump fan at all.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. Um, for me personally, and like the shit that gets my blood boiling is, and before I say, so like when I see something like a video clip or a news story, I run it down. You know what I mean? Like I can't just you can't nowadays you have to like
Yeah.
check, double check, triple check to make sure what you're looking isn't AI or propaganda or whatever. And not everyone does it. So when I see clips, and the worst ones that like burn me are the ones of the people who are doing it the right way that get snagged up in the courtrooms.
Mhm.
Like they're just waiting for them. And some cases, like the judge has been told to not grant it so that way they can get arrested in the lobby. I did a video on this man. I think he's like 23 or 24. He was detained, zip tied with his hands behind his back, and he was sitting on the ground. And they rolled the SUV over his legs slowly.
I saw that.
Yeah, and then they sped up after they was over his leg, and then they just tossed him in the back. So like, I am all for law and order. Okay, I don't think a country and a society can function without law
Mhm,
and order,
mhm.
and I'm all for deportations and like immigration all in the correct manner. And the reason there have been other presidents, Trump isn't the first president to deport people in an unsavory way.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll say that now. Like Trump isn't the only one. And people who say Trump is the only one, that I think is just straight up just Trump hate because they want to hate Trump. But if you look down in the history of the United States, we have had a handful of presidents that have changed the policies to the way that they want it to be to
Mhm.
deport illegal immigrants how they see fit. And it isn't always a popular decision. However, Trump blatantly bypasses certain amendments in the Constitution. He's actively testing the waters to see what laws he can get by. And he's surrounded himself with loyalists so that way when he tests the waters, there's no pushback. And that is a huge problem because it won't stop at where he's at. It'll never stop because that's how narcissists work. It's never enough power. So again, like I'm all for doing everything the proper way and law and order, but the horrific videos that I've been seeing and immigration enforcement, they should follow the same standards as like federal agents, background checks and all that stuff. And we know Proud Boys are working for ICE and we know people who have rap sheets are working for ICE. So it's like rules for thee and not, not for me type situation.
You
And
need a certain type of mentality to do that.
yeah, man, you got to be a hateful person kind of deep down if you, because nobody, it's not a secret what ICE does. At this point, if you're signing up for ICE, you know what you're in for.
Is it much different than going to the military?
Oh yeah, it is absolutely much different. Because like, let me see if I can.
Why you think on that? Because when
Yeah,
you
go
join
for
the
it.
military, you're gonna go to war.
Yeah,
90% of the time, this country has been at war damn near its whole existence. So, and you're going to go to war against brown people of some shade across the planet, and it
yep.
will be under the guise of freedom and whatever flag bear. When really it's about something tangible. We want your oil, or we want your diamonds, or we want whatever the case may be.
Right.
Just basically bullying you to take your shit.
Yeah, you could definitely draw similarities between
Mhm.
them. I mean, it's a federal agency, so there's going to
Yes.
be similarities because they're all rooted in the same type of core through the
Mhm.
country. The people who join these particular branches, military and ICE, personally feel like they're doing something that's protecting America.
Yes.
But like I said earlier, people are only good as the information they're given. And the big thing with, I won't just say MAGA, I can say with some left people, not everyone double checks and fact checks.
Yes.
People go with the information that they feel safe and comfortable with. So Democrats and Republicans the same, not everyone on both sides, will only listen to their wing. If it even comes up as left wing and you're MAGA, they scroll right past it. So they're not even getting,
Yeah.
left wing information. They're only getting right wing. And the same can be said for some left wing. They're only getting left wing information. So the people who join ICE, I think, is a good mix of hateful people and people who finally found an excuse to, abuse their power and do the horrible crap that they want to do. And I think it's mixed with other people who actually think they're saving America because there is a rampant problem with immigrants stealing jobs and whatever the rhetoric is that day. So I, like, I think it's a mix, honestly. I don't think we can say that every ICE agent is a hateful bigot that is just looking for an excuse to be abusive. I think maybe at this point, after a year, if you're still in ICE, I don't know. There might be a gray area. It's hard to say one way or the other because, like I said, it goes back to that. I thought everyone had common sense, but I grew up, so.
I'd be interested in having a conversation with ICE agents that have been on the job more than a decade, and ones that just got the job last year.
Right. Well, I saw on the website they're offering like a 30 or a $50,000 enlistment bonus for ICE.
It's crazy.
That's insane. That's like I didn't get that when I joined the military. I got 20,000, and then after taxes, it was like 12.
Yeah, and then they mad that people say we should forgive student loans. Like the amount of money this country gives to like 6 people
Yeah.
compared to the rest of us is
Well, and then yeah,
insane.
Netanyahu just got 8.6 billion.
I'm not mad at that guy. He's like the senator for a state. That's holding up bills or whatever. Because I don't know what Israel has on America. It's got to be something. But
Got to
whatever the case is, my man's been working his hand since Trump got in office, and it's been easy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just like the FIFA Peace Prize. They're like they knew all they had to do was grease the wheels a little bit, make him feel good about himself, and they could like get something down the line.
Yo, should we have universal health care? I believe we should.
Oh yeah, we should. I mean, we're severely lacking. Most civilized societies across the world have universal health care. We send billions and billions to Israel, and they have universal health care.
Another crazy part. And
Like
nobody
why?
brings
Like
it up.
if we can't afford it for ourselves because it's such a scam, as they like to say it, like it's a scam. The universal health care that actually cost you more money. Like all the rhetoric around it, but it works for other democratic
Consistently.
societies, and it
Consistently.
works for the countries that we send our billions to, but it's a scam, but we're funding it for other countries. That doesn't make any sense.
Or we are paying $100 for a pill, and you go to Canada and it's $25.
Yeah.
And then
Or
they'll try to
Mexico.
tell you it's not as safe in Canada. Like Canada don't give a fuck about their people. Oh, we'll take half the quality for a cheaper price.
Oh, hell.
And we go, but I swear, man, sometimes, man, I just, and I was talking today and I was saying, I think I want to move to Ghana because I see the fall of this country. Every dynasty crumbles. And the way things are going, the divide in mentality is so wide now. It's ridiculous. And I'm not even talking about culturally or race, but just among white people.
Just
White
in
people are
general, no,
really
yeah, man.
hating white people. I've
And
never seen it
it's
like this in my life.
no, no, I haven't. Like, because it's since about 2015, 2016. And this, I think I can definitely attribute to Trump. Because as soon as he came in office the first time,
Mhm.
it's like the country gave themselves permission to just not have a filter anymore. Like they just didn't give a shit. And it didn't much change after he left office and Biden came into office because it was like once that door was open, they were like, nah, fuck it, we're not going back.
Yeah. And there was no
And
punishment.
nah, no repercussions. Like he's pardoning people left and right. And if, like Colorado, the whole Tina Peters thing, her lawyer is advocating for him to use the military to break her out, even though he has no pardoning statutes over state crimes. But he wants to, just rewrite the rules at leisure.
But we're not standing up. It's as if Germany is repeating itself.
That's how it's. I just had this conversation with my executive producer like yesterday.
Mhm.
The problem is the party that is kind of sane, and that Democratic Party, they're not perfect. We have our fair amount of shady shit that needs to be addressed as well, but we got to fight the bigger dragon first.
Mhm.
They're the party of peaceful change. The problem is I don't know if this time peaceful change is what it's going to take. By the time the party of peaceful change realizes that it's not going to be a peaceful resolution, it's too late. It's too late. And but the problem is where do you draw that line? And I think everyone looks to each other for the same thing. They're like, okay, well, I'm not going to go out and start a riot because then I'm going to lose my job
Yeah.
and I'm going to get arrested. But
Yes.
everyone has the same individual thought because right now they're safe, they're secure. The world's falling apart to shit, but they're safe in their house, in
Yeah.
their career. And anything that'll disrupt that's like, fight or flight. And the human brain is just, I don't think a lot of these people are looking for a universal sign, but I think even if that universal sign happens, they're going to miss it because they're not going to know that it's the universal sign.
All we simply got to do is stop doing shit for rich people, no matter the price. Don't let them come to your McDonald's.
Right?
Don't
Stop
don't
paying your
don't
taxes, but everyone's,
don't sweep their floors. Don't deliver to their house. Don't fix their car. Like completely phase them out socially. You can have all that money. You just can't have the social experience.
well, boycotting stores has been proven effective. When we boycotted Target, it was like the beginning of the year, they lost a lot of business. And then same thing when they got rid of Colbert and they boycotted Disney. It was what, 3 days before they reinstated him because they lost billions.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
It works.
yeah, again, like try telling someone to boycott Walmart if that's their primary source of groceries and
No, I'm not
everything.
saying boycott a store.
No, no,
I'm
no. But I'm just saying, like, that was just like an example. Like, some people just they won't, and that's where the problem lies. We need people to do it, but they won't.
I'm certain that a certain I'm this I am certain of. There will get to a point where that the haves are completely ostracized.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that.
Because I think that the people that have voted for Trump expected to be immune from his policies and aren't.
Yeah, I saw a video. I don't even know when it was, a couple weeks ago, of a guy
Mm,
standing in front of a judge, and he was like pleading his innocence. He didn't do. I don't even remember what the charge was. Doesn't matter. But he's like, I guess I'll reach out to Donald Trump. And the guy was just like, yeah, okay, do that. And he was like, I'm gonna reach out to. But this is the entitlement that they feel,
yes, yes.
and it's like, why? Why do you feel entitled? Like, you don't care. You don't even care about you at all.
How he has convinced people that he does is the crazy, or how they've convinced themselves is
Mm.
insane. But okay, so here's a question I ask everybody that comes on the show. It has absolutely nothing to do with nothing, but here goes.
All right.
You're sitting on a park bench, and God sits down next to you, and he or she says you can ask them one question. What would it be?
Hmm. It's a good question.
I got one every now and then.
Let me think. One question in the whole world. I'd probably ask him why he made man imperfect. Because if I only had one question,
Mhm.
most of the world's problems can boil down to humanity's imperfections, whether it's anger, whether it's jealousy, whether it's, any of the basic human emotions, or, power, greed, any of those. It's all boils down to humans imperfectness, or humanity imperfect, whatever, what I mean. Like, so I'd
Mm.
probably ask that, like, what if you're making us in your image, supposedly, why not just make us perfect?
It shit just wouldn't be just. It wouldn't be as entertaining.
No, it wouldn't. And like, but it's I'd still ask that question, just because, like, why make creatures that are so flawed, like very, very flawed? And I'm not even talking about just mentally, but like on the physical side, cancers and diseases, and like the feeble body, like the flesh is weak. We are like weak creatures that walk planet Earth,
Yeah,
that is just full of crap that'll kill us. So I just asked, like, why wouldn't you just make us like these perfect creatures to walk the earth?
I think he thought he did, and
Yeah,
we
you know
end
what?
up
That's fair. That's probably a fair point.
and we end up being the most flawed creature.
Yeah,
Like an elephant is still an elephant. A tiger
true.
is still a fucking tiger. Any variation in other species is because of us.
That's you know what? That's true. That is very, very true.
So
Because without man influence, they would just go about their normal course of action.
yo, and it's got to be like I call these deer in my neighborhood. It's a whole fucking family of deer. I call them the Satan family because
Yeah.
they stare at me like 5 feet away, like do something. But I have to
Is it
remind
like
myself,
domesticated in your neighborhood?
well, for lack of a better term, yeah. But I live near a big ass park, like a state park,
Yeah, yeah.
and we've just built on their home. Ain't got nowhere else to go, so he's walking
Yep.
around fucking with our shit. So
Yeah, do you fish?
I do not, but I've been wanting to learn.
So I'm a fisherman. I've been fishing since I was a kid. Used to go with my
Mhm,
dad. But I've noticed as I get older, I'm only 37, but when I go to take my kids fishing and I try to
mhm.
bring them back to, the spots that I remember from when I was a kid, that I had like great times at with my dad. But like, I go back to a lot of these spots and they are just burnt out. Like, they have been beaten and trashed, and like homeless people live in some of the spots, and the water levels, like the water's just nasty now. And I'm just like, man, like, it's only been 20 years. Like,
Yeah.
it's only been 20 years, and these look like they've been beaten for 100. It's sad what man does to nature.
Imagine what it's gonna be like in 100 years.
Oh, I don't even want to. Like, we don't even fish. I live just outside of Concord, New Hampshire,
Mhm,
and I won't fish inside of Concord, like the rivers and stuff. It's because the rivers are just so polluted. They're nasty. All the fish have worms, and the waters, like, if you go swimming in any of the rivers in like the city, you'll get
mhm.
infections if you have cuts and stuff. They're just nasty.
Yo, okay, so you're the president for 1 week.
Okay.
And actually, you know what? I'm gonna give you one full term. Can you fix us?
One full term?
Yes.
I don't know, man. We're decades far gone, but if I only had a term, I could enact stuff in a term that
Mhm.
would have long-term effects, but
Okay.
I couldn't fix it in a 4-year term. That's not a realistic goal. So realistically, we need to like be worried. I do think pollution is an issue.
Mhm.
And this whole wind turbines killing birds and whales or whatever the crap they're saying now, I think it's all crap. It's just because they want money and investments in oil companies. And we all know that. Like, that's not even a secret. So definitely move away from fossil fuels and move towards cleaner energy. So enact policies for that.
Mhm.
You would enact policies for universal health care because a healthier society is a happier society, and a happier society doesn't kill each other constantly. And then you make policies that make the basic necessities for humans to survive not be so goddamn expensive. Those basic things alone, people would feel enough relief where they wouldn't want to go shoot up stores or rob stores or, you know, become drug dealers because it pays more. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I think, 5 basic policies, maybe not policies, I don't really know how policies work, but 5 basic categories of policies could change the course for decades.
So Dwight Howard put up a post and he said he believes that every person in this country should be required to serve in the military.
I so I got a friend in Sweden. I met him when I was in high school. He was a foreign exchange student.
Mhm.
We became really good friends for a few years. We're still in contact to this day. In
Okay.
Sweden, you have to do 2 years of military or 2 years of college after high school. It's required,
Mm.
but it's paid for. You know, your college is paid for if you do the 2 years, and your military, your housing, and all that stuff is paid for as is, like when we do our military. And I think that honestly is a fantastic idea. Maybe not a 4-year stretch, you know, like because if you sign up for 4 years here, there are certain situations you could sign up for only 2 years, but usually it's on like a reserve status.
Mhm.
But I think 2 years mandatory of either a higher education or military, but don't require them, like don't require it and then make them pay for it. That's ass
That's
backwards.
crazy. Yes.
That's
Yes.
crazy.
Yes.
But I definitely think a 2 years after high school would benefit every single person because at the very least, it teaches you how to live on your own. If nothing else, it teaches you how to be self-sufficient, which is lacking severely in today's society.
And what I would do though is because I agree with you, but I would add the caveat that everyone, regardless of who you are or what you have, has to start the same spot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Period.
No, there's no okay, you did this so you can be, like come out as an E5 right out of basic, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we're not doing that.
No, like you should all have to earn your stripes the
That should be
way
the
it's
one place
intended.
where your content of your character and your work ethic count
Only I
unequivocally.
so let me branch off on that.
Mhm.
Only if I think that should be the case if it's right out of high school. If you decide to join the military, well, no, never mind. That if it's required right after high school, then what I'm saying means nothing.
Yeah,
So right
because
after high school, yeah. So everyone needs to start at the same spot.
and
Absolutely.
if you decide, you know what, like 5 years out, you know what, I want to go back in, you should still have the credit for your 2 years or whatever. And at that point, like if you go back in, you start where you left off. I give you
Yeah.
that.
You
You
know
know.
what I think we should do? Honestly, this is something I would do in my term if I was a president. I would
Mhm.
make it so that the United States military, no matter what branch you serve, if your job in the military, your MOS or, whichever branch, they have different names for each of them, but
Mhm.
whatever your job is, you go to school for it in the military. Like I was a construction diesel mechanic in a Navy. I was a Navy CB construction
Mhm.
diesel mechanic. When I went to Iraq, I volunteered for convoy security because I didn't want to sit on a base in a garage for the entire time I was there. But I went to school for mechanics. I had my final test was to strip a six-cylinder engine down, every single nut and bolt, put it back together. It had to work. You know what I mean? But when I got out after 8 years as a mechanic in the military, I couldn't get a job at Caterpillar. I couldn't get a job at any of these diesel places without formal education. So that is one thing I would change is your education from the military and your years experience should carry over into your civilian
Yes.
life if you
Yes.
want to work in that career path because that screws so many people over. So
Yeah.
like when I got out after 8 years, I would have had to go back for another 2 to 4 years for diesel mechanics, stuff I already knew, just to get the piece of paper to get that job.
Yo, that's so dumb. And
Right?
it's just it's the hypocrisy of this country at full tilt. We love the military. We'll give you a day. We'll celebrate. But most of our homeless are veterans. Like,
Yeah.
how the fuck do you allow somebody that was willing to put their life on the line for this country sleep on a fucking church step?
They only care about you as long as you're serving them. That's about it. Like I don't go to the VA. I go to my private doctor because I went to the VA for the first time back in shit 2011,
Mhm,
2012,
mhm,
and it was awful. So then I gave it a second chance and it was awful. So I was like, screw this. And everyone that I've talked to said it's, the exact same and it's not getting any better with the Trump cuts to the VA. Things are getting slower, the backlog is getting bigger. And I have my disability and it's like PTSD and stuff like
mhm,
that. So I have my right knee and I have my back because I had lower back surgery when I got back from Iraq due to an
mhm,
injury sustained overseas. So I have my percentages for that, but I'm still able to work.
mhm.
But according to the Trump administration, because I'm still able to work, they would want to strip benefits from veterans like me. Because I'm able to work, I shouldn't be drawing disability from the VA no matter what happened in Iraq or how many years I spent, which is just, it's ass backwards. Like I did my time, I earned and paid for that disability. You know what I mean?
Yo,
So, I mean, I
so did
think
you get shot at?
I've been shot at. Yes. I never got shot. No. Um, so I busted up my knee bailing out
Mm.
of a second story window. So I was in a brace from my hip down to my ankle for 8 weeks. I was stationed.
Yo,
Yeah, that sucked. So, and then when I got back on the road, so the flak jackets that you wear, they have these ceramic plates that you slide into them. And if you
mhm.
take a round, it's supposed to break. So the plate shatters apart with a round. It's great if you're not getting shot multiple times in the same spot. But so theoretically, it stops the round and then you swap the plate out.
While getting
So
shot
my
at.
back, no, you would find cover or have someone cover you. That's like something you'd probably do after. Um, you wouldn't you don't have the time to just try and swap out because you have to pull the pieces of the plate out. It takes, like a few minutes. If you get shot, you're going to turn your body so you're not getting pegged in the same spot. And then you try to find cover almost immediately. But I have like a scoliosis type situation going on. So riding in the trucks, my spine was pressing on the ceramic plate. So it was actually chewing up all the muscle. So I had a blood pocket on my back like this big. So when I got back, I had to have surgery and like they had to cut out like a whole bunch of muscle. So, but like that's all shit that's like that was all because of my deployment. Shit that happened to me that would not have happened to me if I had not joined the military. So, and I didn't even claim disability until 3, 4 years ago. My wife was like, dude, why don't you claim disability? My wife, who I've been with for about 6 years now,
Mhm.
she's like, you don't claim disability? I'm like, nah, like my mentality is there's veterans out there that need it more than I do.
Right.
They're missing limbs and got real fucked up shit going on. And she's like, no, no, like you put the time in, you have your scars and your disabilities, go collect what was owed to you. So
Man.
then I finally did it, and I went to my doctor's visits and all that stuff. But it's just it took a lot for me to get past that mentality. And I know there's veterans out there that still don't collect when they should because they feel the same way. Like there's other veterans that need it more.
Worst moment you had in combat.
Worst moment. So we got, see if I get this right. We were coming from Al Assad, which was our home base.
Mhm.
That was where we were. I call it our home base, but we really only spent 2 days there while we were in theater. Because convoy security, we ran from 1800 to whenever the mission was over in the morning time or midday or next day, whenever. But we
Mhm.
ran at night because there was less action and less heat on the road. So we were running from Al Assad to Nukaib or Ukaib. I can't remember if there was an N in there, but it's like northern Iraq.
Okay.
And we take this route. It's called Route 10. It takes about 16 hours to drive. And the reason it takes, if the road was smooth, it would take you 2 hours. But the road is so blasted to shit with potholes because of like roadside bombs and gunfire. And it's all broken to pieces. So you gotta, because the MRAPs that you drive
Mhm.
have the big mine sweep rollers on the front, and those have independent suspension, but they all work on a swivel from the truck. So if you're hammering over this, that thing's going to bounce right up and it's going to fuck the truck right up. So you got to go slow. And when you're leading a convoy of 30 to 40 trucks, you get accordion because there was 6 gun trucks on my team. It was my truck and 5
Mhm.
others,
Mhm.
our minesweeper in the front, and our mechanic's truck in the back. But in between each of those gun trucks, we would transport like local Iraqi national tractor trailers from base to base. And sometimes it was 10 trucks. I think the most we ever transported was like 110, which was ridiculous. We're talking like a mile straight of vehicles. Like, it's crazy.
Wow.
But if you go hammering on that, not all the drivers from like local drivers, they're not going to hammer their semis over those bumpy ass roads. They're going to slow down. So then you get this effect going on. And so it takes a long ass time. So, anyways, bring it back to what I was saying. We were coming down through this valley. There's two, like, they weren't mountains, they were just very large hillsides
Mhm.
with a corner that comes around through. And you had to go through that on the route that we were taking. On the top of the left side, there was an Iraqi police outpost, which is basically just a shack with 2 Iraqi police that they sit there and they monitor and then they swap out. It's kind of like a checkpoint.
Mhm.
So we were rolling through and we got to the third truck in the convoy and an IED had detonated on the right side. So we had to halt the convoy and then call in EOD so they can come in, do a sweep of the area, and if there's any further like um, undetonated ordnance out there, they collect them, or if they need to blast them in place, they'll do that. So you have no choice. You have to sit there while you wait for EOD to come out from whichever base is closest to wherever you are. While we were sitting in this valley, like sitting ducks, we sat there for 8 hours. And we were taking every few hours, we'd take some fire from the front, from the back, from the top side, just random. And then it would just go away. And then little while would go longer. And we'd see a few tracer rounds come towards our convoy. We'd hear them ping off the trucks. We'd all take our cover, and then it would go away. And the funniest correlation that I could draw to this. So in the gun trucks, we have our Blue Force tracker, which is like a GPS system. You can track all friendlies within country.
Mhm.
And then you have like a camera on the top of the truck. Okay. The driver's seat has a screen you can flip down, and that's what that camera is hooked up to. So you
Mhm.
can view what's around your truck from inside. And it does night vision and it does infrared. The Iraqi police outpost, we were watching them while we were sitting there, and the gunfire that we were receiving every so often coincided with one of them leaving the outpost and then coming back. So he'd
Y'all could
leave.
see that
A
good?
little while later, we'd take some rounds, and then a little while later, he'd go back. It'd be quiet for a bit,
Yo.
and we're like, but it's not enough to do anything because we have to follow Geneva Convention and we're still in the theater, so that wasn't the pressing matter because we're still waiting for EOD to show up on scene. But it's just like that was probably the worst, being a sitting duck in that valley. Like because it's just brutal. It's nighttime. It's like 3 a.m, pitch black in the middle of the freaking desert, and you're sitting in like what would only be a terrorist like wet dream.
I'm sorry. Yo, how, how do you not think about dying constantly?
You have to block it out. It's once I arrived in Kuwait and they started gearing us up and they mentally prepare you, not much. They give you about a couple days of counseling to say, okay, this is kind of the stuff that we've seen in the past.
Mhm.
This is what you're in for. Here's where you're going to go when you get in country, this, that, and the other. But that's it. Like it's not much. You fly into Kuwait, you get your gear, you grab a snack, and then you're off. You go to Iraq or Afghanistan or wherever you go, because Kuwait is kind of like the stopping post where you get your stuff. That's where we went after Iraq to drop off all our gear and get our demobilization counseling, which is basically 4 or 5 days of you running around the base to medical so you can get cleared, to dental so you can get cleared, and to psych so you can get cleared. But it's nothing in depth. How you feeling? You good? Cool. You good? How you feeling? You healthy? How your teeth feel? Good? Great. Got any problems? You having any nightmares? Nope. Good. All right, off you go. And that's it. Right after your deployment. That's what they give you. And then poof, back to States.
Yeah, that is.
So yeah, it's
That's fucked up.
I saw a counselor for a better part of 10 years after my deployment, just because like I was in my civilian, like I found my own counselor because I wasn't going to go through like the military stuff. And it's definitely, any veterans watching, find a personal private counselor that's not with the VA, but look for someone who has a military background. They're out there and they're awesome.
Yo, first off, I just want to thank you again, man. This has just been a very eye-opening, wonderful conversation. It's been a privilege to have you come by. If people want to get in touch with you, and they want to come on the podcast, I don't know if you have guests or.
I do. Yeah, I just had a guy. He's a veteran friend of mine. He just got back from doing a mission in Ukraine, bringing trucks from the UK to the Donbass region, and yeah. So if you wanna, the podcast is Ground Truth No Filter. We shoot weekly. You can find it on YouTube, Substack. The link is in my bio on my Instagram, which I assume you'll probably throw up here. It's on the flyer. Chris __ Farrell is my name across all socials. But yeah, if people want to reach out to me, I'm pretty good about responding.
Yes, he is.
I get a lot of messages, but I filter through them eventually because I want my followers to know that I'm not just making content. I care about my content and I care about my followers, because without my followers, I got nothing. I'm just some guy yelling at my phone.
When are you gonna run for office?
I've been asked that many times. So I started back in February. I started the local 50-51 in New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm.
And it's me, my wife, and we have 3 other founding members. And we do like all those national protests that 50-51 holds. So we have calls with all the states so we can coincide together. We had 6,000 people at our last protest in Concord. And so yeah, I mean, I've been asked, when are you going to run for like Senate? When are you going to run for state rep? I had like a woman reach out to me on Instagram. She's like, you would be great president. You should do it. And I'm just like, I don't know if I want that headache. Like, I don't know a lot about policy. And
I don't think that's a requirement.
No, it's not. But like, I'm also a strong believer of, so we got midterms coming up. I had contemplated running for state rep of my area for like this election.
Okay.
But the time restraints, like I'd have to learn quite a bit. I'd have to campaign quite a bit. So I might run next cycle.
Okay.
But I'm also a strong believer, like if you have good candidates running for your state, don't compete against them, just boost them. And we have a couple great candidates running in New Hampshire, so I'm going to boost them and get them on my show since I'm not running this cycle, and maybe they'll be competitors next cycle, but who knows?
Yeah, but you're the only person that you truly know.
Exactly.
So And
No one knows you better than yourself.
I'm arguing you'd probably be a much better candidate than most people out there.
I honestly, and this is gonna sound crazy, I don't feel like I have enough life experience to run for Senate yet. Because I've only been an activist for about a year. You
Hmm.
know, I was in the military for 8 years. I'm on my second marriage. I do have 4 kids, so I do have that portion of life like under my belt. But I'm only 37. Like I was one of those dumb kids in the military. I never paid attention to policy or government. Or the first time I voted was Obama in 2008 when I was in Iraq, and then they announced the winner theoretically before votes or before mail can even make it to the states.
Hmm.
So I lost trust in the voting system, and I didn't vote again until Biden.
Mm.
And it's just because like they give us our write-in votes when we are in the mess hall in Iraq, whatever base you're on. They say, all right, here's your votes. We're going to mail them to the states. It takes 7 to 9 days. I don't know what it is now, but back in 2008, it took 7 to 9 days
Hmm.
for letters to get from where we were stateside.
Okay.
We casted our votes and they announced the winners 2 days later. So you're trying to tell me that you calculated every soldier's vote in country in 48 hours and then put it on the main tally. And I didn't buy it. So I lost faith in the system for a while.
Hmm.
So that's when I say I don't feel like I have enough. Like I haven't really started paying attention to stuff. It's
That,
been less than a decade, you know?
but you can't teach being a good person.
No, I get that.
The other shit you can learn, and you will.
But you can teach and learn the correct ways to talk to people in a way that can get past the bullshit and the propaganda. And I don't feel like I know that yet. Like I resonate with people on my social media because I'm saying stuff that like they feel and they get along with, you know.
You're not giving yourself enough credit, bro. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because there's a shitload of people doing exactly the same thing that you're doing, saying exactly the same shit, and for whatever reason, people resonate with you.
Yeah.
That's not a knowledge base. That's not a. If there's somebody out there that's literally saying exactly the same thing, it's a you base. People
I
just
struggle with myself because like I haven't I don't know, I guess I haven't broken through enough people. I have this, it's probably an unrealistic goal in my own head that I
mm,
would love to be able to figure out a way of speaking or conveying my message that I can go up to any hardcore MAGA and just have a conversation with them and something about, you know, like what I say or how, and I get how unrealistic that sounds. I totally get it,
man.
but I'm a dreamer. I'm a dreamer. But I would love to be able to have that person be like, oh, yeah, I never thought of it like that. And I'm sure we all have that same dream, but it's
No,
I don't
we
know.
don't. Fuck them. You sometimes you just you know you made your bed lying and shit. Like I'm not trying to save people, but
Yeah, no.
if you are trying to save the world, you got to save your own block first.
Truth. Truth. Yeah, and I try to focus on community action. Like when
Yeah.
the SNAP benefits ran out, I don't know how long you've been following my social media, but like
Mhm.
when they stopped the SNAP benefits because of the government shutdown and all that stuff, I was hosting live sessions for each state so that way I could provide information for food banks and stuff like that. Because that's where it's at. Like if you can't boost your own community, you're not going to be any help to anyone else. Because if your community falls, it's just going to be a chain reaction. But if every community next to every community is strong, then you have an overall region of just concrete foundation. You know what I mean?
I do. I agree with you 1,000%. And on that note, man, I'm gonna let you go. I know you got a lot of shit to do.
Absolutely.
Again, I can't possibly thank you enough. And yo, and when you're ready to run and you want to come back, let me know and we'll make it happen whenever.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get you on my show too.
Please do.
All right, man.
Please
I
do.
hope you have a great night. Be safe and have enjoy the rest of your weekend.
No doubt, man. And happy
All right.
new year to you.
Happy New Year to you as well.
All right, peace.
See ya.
Yo, um, And I think next week I got the four tops. The fucking four top. Anyway, Chris Farrell, man, it's very, 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 very dope. Yo, run for office, bro. Just do it, please. For peak's sake, for the sanity of humanity. And that's the biggest thing for me. It's like I don't care if you get in Congress and you're not the most aesthetically pleasing, or you don't know all the rules and regulations of the actual Congress, but you care about your constituents. That's all that counts. You'll figure out the rest. You can't, like I said before, you cannot teach good people. And I meant to say, I think good people, like, I don't go to any kindergarten and go to recess, and you'll see good people. You'll see some little bully out there. You'll see some shy kids out there, and you'll see some really good kids that just came out the womb a good person. When you find those people, fuck with them. Anyway, this is Jobs. It's been another episode of Intellectually Petty Radio, and I'm out. Y'all have a good one.